Welcome to our first Arborjet blog. We have Jake Carufel, Michigan, good friend, great arborist. We're going to ask him some questions about the industry. I kind of wrote them down, so I'm going to use my cheat sheet. So, I guess first, kind of tell us a little bit about yourself and how long you've been in the industry.
Yeah. So obviously, like Joe said, my name's Joe Carufel. I've been in the industry for about 11 years now, and I started doing utility line clearance. So I just got a call from my uncle. He asked me if I wanted to go trim trees. He thought it sounded like a cool job. So I started doing that, and I became a pretty good climber, but I really enjoyed just being in the trees and being able to see all this gear and all this cool stuff, right? So that's what really caught me, and I became passionate about it. From that point, I started going to tree competitions, and that really just sparked a huge passion for tree climbing in myself, and it helps me meet cool people. Like, obviously everybody here at the Expo, Joe and all my other friends. So, yeah.
You mentioned something about you got invited. So even before that, the first time you got into it, this probably was never on your radar that you were going to be in the tree business.
No. My grandfather, he had done it for his entire career, and my uncle had too, but it never registered that it was really a job. I just knew they did tree work. So from that point, it's neat now knowing that, right?
The history,
everything that goes into it is really cool. Where before, and unfortunately, I think that's one of the things that's hard right now is a lot of people don't know it's even a job. You get to climb trees for a job. That's an actual thing, and you make money doing it.
That's pretty.
That's
awesome.
Wild, right?
Yeah, I remember when I got in a long time ago. It's a little bit different. There's a change in technology. There's a change in things that you use in the industry for climbing. If you look at the evolution of the climbing equipment from probably with your grandfather to now, is again, that's actually pretty exciting too. So.
Yeah, huge. That's one of my favorite stories was going up to my grandfather's property and setting up these new climbing systems, and he sat on the porch and laughed about it. He kept thinking I was wasting my time, and then I cruised up in this tree and he stared at it. He you can tell there's a big difference there. He came over and he said, so that's the future right there. That's the future. So that's cool, that's a neat thing.
That's awesome. I wanted to bring up a little bit, you were very fortunate to win the climbing competition in Michigan and represent Michigan at ITCC.
Yeah.
I had a chance to see you there. What a great environment. A little bit on that.
Yeah. So it took me a long time of competing, and I finally won the Michigan competition, and I got the chance to go and represent Michigan at the international comp, and just being around those climbers and the people there, it's like a huge family. That's the best way to describe the tree industry. And then the competitions really just bring out the best in everyone. It's different than any competition I've seen in other industries, right? Like tree climbing competitions, people are helping each other. They're telling you how to make your next climb better because they might have messed it up. And at that level, at the international level, it was still happening. So the best in the world are competing and still helping each other.
You're right, it's a family. When I was there, I think we were talking to Mike, the Polish champion, and I got an invite to go to Poland to stay at his house.
Yeah. So
it's just amazing, the family in this industry.
Yeah, super tight-knit community. It's awesome.
So you've been in the industry 11 years. Is there any trends? Is there anything that you see that's coming out that you're excited about, or maybe that's something that should die out?
Personally, on things that are changing and that are building, at least personally for myself, I'm getting more into plant healthcare. I'm trying to learn more about that type of stuff, just because it's the future, right? If we're trying to save trees, that's a big thing in my opinion, and I think more people need to do that. Everybody has figured out how to remove trees.
Yes.
Not a lot of people figure out how to save trees efficiently, and they can't market it either. So I think that's a big thing that people need to start paying attention to. But trend-wise in the industry, if you look around this convention, mechanizing your job site and your crews is huge right now. I think investing in iron is a huge thing. If you're going to do tree removal, these grapple saws, these tree mechs, these huge cranes, this is the future of tree work. They're separating the climber from being in these dangerous situations. Whether you're doing crane removals and you're the climber in the tree making a 4,000 pound cut, where now you can separate that and you can use a machine to grab a limb and set it down. Those are the things I'm seeing.
So
Safety is huge. It's huge now.
Yeah, and you're aware of the, was it 10 or 11 fatalities so far in Michigan this year in this industry, so I think it's a great thing that we keep pushing safer.
That's the biggest thing we can do.
Safer, fast. Well, there was a time when I was in the business, it was always faster, faster, faster.
Yeah.
We'll realize that the faster you go, the dangerous it is. So slowing down, mechanical.
It's just a matter of paying attention. Have respect for your crew. Those people want to go home too. You want to go home to your family. They want to go home to their family. Everybody needs to be a team, opposed to a boss and the workers. It needs to be a teamwork.
Team's important, and you see more of that now.
Yes.
And I think the industry's embracing that.
Yeah.
You mentioned, we'll wrap up with, you mentioned plant healthcare. We attend a lot of seminars throughout the country, and we always see the climbers are very hesitant to look at it or talk about it and try to understand it. As you're dabbling into it, is there any advice that you would say to someone that was thinking about it that's still a little nervous about it?
The biggest thing I would tell people is to, if you want to get into it, try to find a mentor. I've been fortunate enough to have Joe, he's helped. But to have a mentor who can lead you in the right direction and just tell you about the little things, the little differences and the stuff you need to look at. I think the best advice I was told with plant healthcare was find your 3 main pests. Find the 3 main pests in your area and learn everything you can about them, right? And now you can start identifying that. So that was huge for me to see that and work from there. But yeah, find a mentor. There's lots of stuff online. Do your research and just start paying attention. As climbers, we're so close to those trees. We're right up there. We're in the canopy. There's so many little things that we can see, whether it be flagging in elm trees or borer holes. Right? We have an opportunity to see stuff that most plant healthcare technicians aren't. So we have an opportunity there to kind of have an upper step.
Do you think that could be a great segue into getting climbers a little more connected slowly into like a plant healthcare mindset? Because you're right, you are in the canopy.
Yeah.
And a lot of the insects and diseases start up there. So if you knew what to look for while you're doing the pruning, I'm thinking could that be a benefit to this industry?
I think it could be huge. Even if you're a climber and you're doing this stuff to help the company, pay attention to this stuff, and then they can tell their clients that. I mean, that's huge for everyone. It's helping everybody out in that situation.
Awesome. Well, excuse me. I appreciate you coming by. Got a lot of respect for you and what you're doing in the industry, so keep up the good work. And enjoy the rest of the show.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.